Hello and welcome back to The Dive with Kobe.
It's not The Dive. You just filmed The Dive. This is this or that, presented by Verizon.
That has never.
That's the first time you've done that.
How is that the first time that's actually ever happened?
You've done this show for how many years? Like 6 months?
6 years.
6 years?
6 years.
Wow.
I've done this show for the whole history of
I'm
this
glad
show.
I was here for the first time Kobe screwed it up.
Welcome to This or That with Kobe. I was like, what? When I said it, I was like, why didn't that like?
Didn't feel right.
Why
didn't have the right flow? Didn't have the right flow.
I should have said, welcome to This or That with Kobe and Jat for the old time's sake.
You should have.
Anyways, we're presented by Verizon. Dash is here. Let's get into it. Smooth.
What rookie has impressed you the most in summer, Kobe? Is it Fly Phillip or is it Immortals Kenvi?
Honestly, it has been Phillip.
Yeah.
Phillip, and even I think this is due to some expectation setting.
That might be true.
This is a really important lesson. You know, in industry, they talk about expectation setting all the time, but it's really important for individual rookies as well, because Phillip coming up, even their own coaches were like, all right, we know it's probably not LCS ready, but we're looking towards the future. We want to build up. We believe in him, and he's performed really well. Kenvi had the most hype ever generated for any rookie ever. 100 Thieves are like, he's God, and he is coming to the Rift. And Immortals had a really, really rough beginning of the split, although now I would say they are they're on the up and up.
I love the point about expectation setting. It's not even something I consider, because I would say even without expectation setting, I still do think Phillip is performing better, but I think it makes it feel even greater a difference because of the point you're making. So I'm going to go Fly Phillip as well. Can't argue with my man Fudge, who quite literally said he's the number 5 top laner or whatever.
I mean, you could argue with him, but
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That guy's a lot taller than me.
Happier to see from the weekend. Is it Luger on Draven or Chime on Bard?
Okay, I'm picking Chime on Bard, and I'll tell you why. For one reason only. Because 20 seconds before we threw it to the casters for the game, Raz goes, and then of course, you know, there's Chime with his signature pick Bard, which he'll never draft. He literally said, Chime will never pick this champion. And then 20 seconds later, this gets locked in. I was like, it's too perfect.
It's funny because we had another Raz Insta Karma moment on G4 this weekend, where last week he was like, Dignitas, they're going on the up and up. They're about to start climbing. And then they sell off river.
Right.
And they're just...
That's pretty
back on point though. There were multiple good Chime Bard stories, because he also had the interview and he's like, actually, I was a Thresh one trick.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, what the hell? and when he was first announced, I brought it up. I was like, his Bard win rate in professional is like 20%.
It's not even that great. Yeah.
But I was really happy to see Draven, specifically because in Champs Queue, every night I'm seeing Draven every single freaking game take over these games, and I'm like, there's 12K gold leads. Why aren't we seeing this in the LCS?
No one's picking it,
And then CLG is like, you know what? We're playing versus Dignitas.
Right, yeah.
We'll show you.
they just lost River. All right, get rid of. This one comes from William Corrum. So get rid of Drakes, including Elder, or just get rid of the Baron.
Whoa!
If I had to get rid of one of them, I would say I get rid of Baron, and I guess that's just because it doesn't become active right until later in the game. And so I really struggle to think of a world where League of Legends is fun when you don't have things to fight over for the first 20 minutes.
So I'm assuming that when we're getting rid of stuff, we're gonna replace it with something. So, but what would I feel, what would I miss the most? Honestly, dragons, to me, ever since I was a little kid, I love dragons.
Yeah.
So I would say do not get rid of dragons.
Yeah.
Even though Baron is iconic, what if we replace it with this another giant like rock monster maybe?
Honestly, it's 2022. We can come up with a better thing than purple.
It's just a big purple worm.
It's just a big purple worm with multiple heads.
Dragons are forever. Dragons are.
Next up, you're lost in Chicago. Who do you trust most to get you to your hotel? Definitely a situation we would never run into, but we'll entertain the question. Spica,
no,
River,
not Spica.
Or
Definitely not
Josedeodo.
Spica.
Yeah, I don't Why don't you trust Spica?
I've heard some stories that his sense of direction's not great, not
Fair
great
enough.
with navigation.
I thought that if we were with Spica, he would just he'd be the person to just call an Uber.
Okay, so he doesn't need a sense of direction or navigation.
I feel like that's how he would solve the problem.
Okay.
As long as he's got a phone. But if we're in a world where we don't have a phone and we're relying on their raw navigational skills, then I'm gonna go with River. I'm gonna go with River.
He's gonna get you there quick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be action-packed.
Exactly. Yeah, there'll be a lot of action.
Early game action.
I think also too. I mean, obviously he's already had to be a mercenary and work with different squads. So if I'm trying to make some allegory or connection to his LCS experience, you know what? He can slot into other teams.
But he's gonna leave you as soon as I pay him to take you the wrong direction. I'm like, hey, I think it'd be really funny, River. Take James.
Take him, drop him off that way. I mean, are you going Josedeodo then? What are you doing?
You actually sold me on Spica. Now I am gonna go Spica. He's just gonna call
the Uber.
Call the Uber. He's got 5-star rating. We're
call
good.
the Uber. There it is.
Which Phreak take was more egregious? COG are going to Worlds? That one seems fine to me. Or Dignitas won't win another game.
Well,
I think COG are going to Worlds. Boop.
Well, so what's fun, I guess, okay, Dignitas now winning another game is more egregious. What's funny is there's a world in which is, true.
They sold their best player away.
Exactly. But this is also possible. That's why I don't actually think either of them are crazy hot takes.
I think this one is probably less harder to do for sure. CLG have a lot of work to do.
You're right.
The top of the LCS is 6 teams that could all, make this really difficult.
Yeah, there's the random chance in a best of one that they pick up a game, right? And it's so that's.
But the wording is egregious.
Right, which is why, to me, that feels like a more egregious take because I think there's really just a possibility that.
I'm gonna go with this one because
that one.
I want to be a CLG supporter.
Phreak is just the king of bad takes, So what can we do? Safer bet for the rest of summer is that 100 Thieves will not drop a game or that EG will not drop a game, and we've got their 5 next opponents, their remaining opponents for the split, listed below.
Those look difficult. Those all look difficult. Are there any?
I mean, I would say Golden Guardians is the only one there that isn't.
I'm gonna say this is safer.
Because of Dig and TSM, right? Because of Dig and TSM.
Dude, it's about not dropping a game. So all that matters is your hardest opponent.
Well, they share their hardest opponent.
Or actually, no, that's not all that matters because you also want to play the numbers game and you don't want to even the chances.
Because there are more.
I'm still going EG.
I think you're right because they have 2 easier opponents in TSM Dignitas
and they share all the other opponents. They're both playing Golden Guardians and Team Liquid and Cloud9.
Yeah, so FlyQuest CLG better opportunity than TSM and Dig to win. So I think we're agreed on that one. This one is a YouTube comment. It comes from Joseph Bennet. Pick the strongest all-star team. We're gonna let you read them because these are 3 big squads, and we'll take a quick look.
For me, it's between these two immediately.
Really? You don't think this team is good? Closer with Bwipo, Jojo. The only problem I have with this one is that it's not a stable, or I say stable. It's not a set bot lane. That's the issue I have with this one is that you are breaking up a bot lane, but at least you're putting CoreJJ with Danny.
CoreJJ has been underperforming recently.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're all good. They're all good.
They are all very. But by the way, that's my first comment, Joseph. Is you actually made 3 very good teams. So impressed that this is as difficult
These
as
are
it is.
Actually, really good teams.
So
I'm gonna pull a Spica slide.
Okay.
Now I'm actually gonna go with the first team.
You're going with the first team. That's what I was thinking.
Because I'm gonna say, once you break apart some of these Team Liquid pieces, they'll be set free, and they're gonna thrive here with Janny. With Janny, that's my Jojo.
With Janny, yeah, I like it.
The EG.
So I'm comfortable eliminating the one on the far end here. Ssumday, Blaber, Bjergsen, Berserker, Zven. In part because, I don't think
that's the Cloud9 heavy one.
It is Cloud9 heavy.
They're just putting Bjergsen in there.
Right, and I don't think Bjergsen's been performing insanely well. I'm tempted. This is the one that I'm stuck on because I really like this bot lane still. Such a reliable bot lane.
It is good.
Toucouille for me is Toucouille for me. Right, this split is right here next to Jojo, 1-2. Yeah. So and then Inspired Impact retaining that top side of the map is very tough.
I'm not
just to be different. I'll go down the middle. Okay. I'm annoyed because I was originally going to go here and you weren't. And
I will say.
And then you snuck into slide number 1 before I could actually say it.
I will say. highly cheapens your answer to me if you say just to be different. I'm gonna go with this one. Closest match on Sunday. FlyQuest COG, Cloud 900 Thieves, EG Team Liquid.
These are huge matchups. Oh my God.
I'm gonna say
Closest.
Cloud 900 Thieves.
Closest match.
Cloud 900 Thieves. CLG games are not close either way they go.
That's true.
They either stomp you by 12K,
Yeah.
like we saw with the Draven game, or
You're going Cloud
going
900.
mid.
I'm gonna go EGTL. I'm gonna go EGTL because I think we're getting to the point of the split where the TL that we know like to ramp up this is where they're gonna start turning it on this week. So I think we're gonna see a more stable game out of them. You're not gonna see Jojo solo killing Bjergsen. You're not gonna see the same.
I'm not buying it. I think you're gonna see exactly that. I think we're gonna see exactly that.
Kobe's calling a solo kill mid lane. Let's go.
Which would you rather delete, Yuumi, Stopwatch, or Teemo Shrooms? This is combined from 2 suggestions, actually. Get your YouTube suggestions in here because 2 of them were actually close enough, and I think they both had Yuumi. Okay, they both had Stopwatch.
That Stopwatch, and then each of them wanted to compare it to either Yuumi or Teemo Shrooms.
We should put the one in the middle that they
for
both
this,
had.
that, or the other thing. Yeah, this is good. No, TalonCrimsonElite and Warpenguin55.
That is my most often.
Warpenguin. I tried to put it all in one word.
That's my most often used Talon
Warpenguin.
skin
That
because
makes sense.
that's the one I had for the longest time, of course. But for deletion, Teemo, I very rarely see.
Yeah, I
so
delete
I'm actually
Yuumi.
fine with
I delete Yuumi.
I'm actually fine with leaving Teemo.
Yuumi, goodbye.
100%, me too.
Goodbye, cat.
Worst
cat story I ever read.
Stopwatches are cool. I know that.
No, I
don't
like
them.
activatable items because they do introduce a little extra element of skill expression into any team fight. Teemo, I just hate, but I don't see him that often.
Not
so
that
to
big
your
of a
point,
problem.
it's not a big issue for me. So I'm gonna go Yuumi.
All right. Join us this weekend. We're gonna have the close games or the ones that are not close and the solo kill.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's The Dive with Kobe and Jat.
Yeah.
Catch you next week.
Nailed it.
More LCS action. Boom!